I didn't realize how much weed had come to rule my life until I took it out of my life, and I was like, wow, everything is different. I think just because you don't get those physical withdrawal symptoms doesn't mean it's not addictive. I thought that weed was the only thing that made me feel better. I thought it was my medicine. What I didn't see until after I gave it up was that it was actually a major contributing cause to my low emotions. What's up, everybody? My name is Francie. This is Moosh, my bestie. And this is Fourth Horse Studio. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about my sobriety journey from cannabis specifically. That was my drug of choice. And I'm going to do this in AA format, what it was like, what getting sober from it was like, and what my life is like now, and why it is so much infinitely better sober than when I was getting high every day. So, yes, I'm going to try to do this with little to no editing, little to no cuts, just the real, raw story. Well, I give some love to the little mister. I love you, baby. And he likes it better when I'm sober, too. I swear to God, he always knew. Okay, so what my life was like when I was smoking weed. It was a slippery slope. It was not a problem at first. It was a wonderful tool for relaxation and fun and creativity and socialization and getting chores done. As any stoner will tell you, there's a lot of positives to weed. There certainly are. And I don't want this video to demonize it. I don't think everyone has a problem with it, but this video is for people who think they might have a problem with it and or have tried to stop and feel like you can't. I just want to share my experience to to help you see that you can, and that life actually can be so much better without it if that is something you're interested in. So, yes, like I said, it started as a good thing. I would do it after I did all I needed to do for the day, and it was just a little fun relaxation tool. And then I found that I could do it before I worked out. And then I found I could do it before I did my chores, or little by little, weed snuck its way into every aspect of my day. And it wasn't a bad thing at first. Again, like, I was quite a functional stoner. I still had good grades in school. I did whatever I needed to do. I got it done by the deadline. It didn't really interfere with my life. When it started to become a problem is when I started to rely on it and depend on it to take me away from my real emotional state, or even just like the mundane reality of day to day, like sweeping and doing the dishes that we all need to do. I just came to rely so heavily on weed. Anytime I felt any sort of hint of a negative emotion, like boredom or loneliness or anger or sadness or stress, anxiety, weed was my best friend. It just made it all go away very easily, very quickly, and I suddenly didn't have any problems. I felt like I was a lot more present and at ease and accepting of things, but what I was really doing was just running away from the true present moment and masking how things really were. I wasn't more accepting, I was just better at avoiding when I was high. And at some point along the way, I started to fall into a deep, dark depression with my weed use. And there were a lot more factors at play here. I don't want to blame it entirely on weed. But what I will say is, in that time, I thought that weed was the only thing that made me feel better. I thought it was my medicine. I thought it was my antidepressant. What I didn't see until after I gave it up was that it was actually a major contributing cause to my low emotions and my feeling of hopelessness and powerlessness and unmanageable life. But I did whatever I could to hold on to it. I would I remember praying, like, Dear God, I'll do anything. Just please help me. Just please let me keep the weed. I was willing to do anything except for give up the weed until one day it got so bad that I was willing to give up the weed. And I hope you don't have to let things in your life get so bad that you hit your bottom until you give it up. That's another reason why I want to make this video. Because, like, if you're just at the point where you're sort of dependent, you can still give it up there too. Anyway, things got so bad emotionally that I knew something had to change. I was at the end of my rope. I was at that proverbial rock bottom that everyone talks about. And that brought me to the rooms of AA when I started my sobriety journey. This was about 4.5 years ago now, which is crazy. I have a little over 2.5 years of continuous sobriety right now. So it has not been a linear journey. There have been ups and downs. I've restarted my sobriety journey many times, and getting sober from weed is no small task. There's a narrative in the stoner community that says, oh, weed isn't addictive. You know, you don't get physical withdrawal symptoms from it. But I think just because you don't get those physical withdrawal symptoms doesn't mean it's not addictive. The habit and the lifestyle and the dependency are just as addictive as anything else. And that's why I needed a spiritual support community to help me get sober from it uh, for good. And things, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They got worse before they get better because I had been numbing my most difficult emotions for years at that point, and it wasn't just going to get better overnight. There was kind of like a flood of emotions that came up after I first got sober, after that initial sobriety. I didn't know how to deal with it. It was really freaking hard. That's why I needed that community of support. Eating was also very hard because I had come to rely on weed to eat. So that was hard at first. Sleeping was hard because I had come to rely on weed to help me wind down for the night. Regular human interactions were very hard because I had come to rely on weed to take the edge off my social anxiety. Basically, in early sobriety, I had to relearn how to do everything and anything, even just putting my clothes away or watching a movie. The simplest things, I didn't realize how much weed had come to rule my life until I took it out of my life. And I was like, wow, everything is different. Oh, I was also very exhausted the first, honestly, year or two of sobriety. That I think is common when you're recovering from a substance just because of all the emotions that come flooding back and the entire recalibration that happens in your life. But the good news is, after things get worse, they start to get better, and then they get so much better than you ever could have imagined. The life that I have today, I am genuinely so grateful for. I have expanded my capacity, and in expanding my capacity to feel and allow for and accept my negative, most darkest emotions, that has expanded my capacity to experience and feel and accept joy and love and connection in ways that I never could before. I learned to tap into a very real sense of creativity that comes from within, not one that I need a substance to lock into. So I think my creative abilities and potentials have expanded in ways I never could have imagined. But like I said, there was a period of creative drought before I got here. That was another facet where things got worse before they got better. But my energy levels, oh, so much more. I wake up in the beginning of the day ready for a new day, excited for a new day, and with energy to spare to put towards, these projects like YouTube and playing with the moosh and doing half marathons, doing all the workouts, doing everything that my heart desires in life. My relationships with people have gotten so much better. I didn't realize when I was smoking how much it impacted my ability to connect with people because I wasn't really fully there. I wasn't really able to attune and to connect and to be curious and to be conscientious and helpful and a good friend or a good daughter or a good sister or a good girlfriend, fiance, whatever. I wasn't able to because getting high was my first priority. So now, without that temptation and desire always in the background of my mind, I can be really present and be the woman that God created me to be in relation with other people, which just feels so good. My my clarity and my concentration have improved so much. And my my ability to connect with myself, my relationship not only with other people, but my relationship with myself has improved so much too. I have found so much more integrity within because instead of just running off to my weed when things got a little hard or uncomfortable and then having that nice soft haze fall over everything and not really feeling like I needed to make any of the changes that I wanted to make before, just being comfortable in the hazy high, I now can recognize and feel when something doesn't feel good to me, when something doesn't feel aligned, and I can take the inspired action that I need to change it. And that sense of like, that just feels good inside, that sense of personal integrity. I am doing what I said I was going to do. I'm becoming the person who I want to be, who I respect, and who I am inspired by. It feels good. And kind of in that same vein, I have so much more compassion and forgiveness for myself when I am falling short of my ideals. That's an interesting thing, right? Like, I don't know why. I don't know why or how that's connected, but it is. When I was smoking weed, I was so much more judgmental and critical of myself. In sobriety, I have found so much more compassion and acceptance for myself and all other people. And what else? The list is so long. I mean, my relationship with a higher power too. That was something I thought I had before I got sober. I thought weed helped me get so present and connect with a higher power, but I have found afterwards that my connection with and rootedness in the present moment and connection with a higher power is so much more real, embodied, and less, I don't know, of an illusion. And I'm learning. I'm still learning. I am still a beginner. I'm able to have a beginner's mindset with everything I do and a growth mindset. And yeah, that is just a little bit of my story so far. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that something I shared resonated and hit home and opened up a little curiosity within you about what would sobriety be like. Oh, there goes the moosh. That is, I think, time to signal that this video is over. But yeah, my life has just gotten so much better since I got sober. I feel so much more clarity, connection, acceptance, vitality, joy, love, compassion, all the good things. And I just want everyone to feel that way. So that's why I wanted to share this. Feel free to Ah, my phone just ran out of storage in that moment, but feel free to message me if you have any more questions about sobriety or weed or anything at all. I'd be happy to chat more. And thank you so much for tuning in, sending you all the love. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if this was any value to you. Can't wait to connect more in the future.